Olá pessoal, bem-vindos a mais uma podcast aqui no canal Capa Games. Desta feita nós vamos aqui acompanhar a Xbox na Gamescom. Muito obrigado por estarem a assistir. Vamos já em breve, isto vai começar na Xbox, no canal da Xbox, então nós vamos assistir aqui em direto no canal, para vocês também estarem a par o que é que a Xbox, a consola, vai nos trazer aqui na Gamescom. E eu estou ansiosíssimo para ver o que é que eles vão nos trazer, ok malta? Vamos lá então e vamos começar isso. Boas aí, Renato, obrigado, ali, estás a assistir. Começa em breve, Renato. Começa em breve. Cinquenta e tal segundos. Xbox, o que é que vamos trazer no Wallow? Master Chief ou Aliens? EDF, malta. Aliens. A falar nisso, não está aqui a minha câmera, porquê? Onde é que eu estou? Onde é que eu estou? Aqui, estou aqui. Devia de aparecer. Ainda não apareci. Ah, estou agora aqui. Olá, malta. Esqueci-me de pôr a minha câmera. Não sei se o pessoal está-me a assistir. Olha, porque é que isto não está a aparecer assim? Ok. Está sinistro. Acho que agora já vai aparecer direito. Boas aí, Retro Game Force. Obrigado por estar aí. Fight Simulator.
Get started with Techland and their upcoming zombie parkour sequel, Dying Light 2: Stay Human.
A black screen reads, Techland presents Dying Light 2: Stay Human.
Hello, I am Timon Smektawa, Dying Light 2 lead game designer, and this is David Lubryka, animation director. Hi. We can't wait until December 7th to finally give you Dying Light 2: Stay Human, the game we have been working on really hard for the last few years.
We're hoping the gameplay video you're about to watch will give you a foretaste of parkour and combat systems waiting for you in the game.
And we are just about to enter the city, fighting our way through its brutal and dangerous streets. Though, as you will see in a moment, there are plenty of things you can use to your advantage. So watch closely, look for special combat and parkour moves, and check out how with just a bit of creativity you can combine the two. Ready? Let's go!
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before I was. Probably like many others. People had their ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it, but it was the people who made the world the way it is. tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones.
A man gets up from the ground and runs. Several zombies chase after the man. A massive creature with large hands breaks through a wall.
Instead of fighting together, people stood against each other. War broke out.
Was it a little bird with a broken leg?
Hope died.
A character
este jogo tá
slides from one
interessante, man.
rooftop on a rope towards another. A large building explodes.
Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I can't let that happen. At least, not yet.
The character leaps onto a zombie and out of a window.
I need the secrets this city holds.
Fuck! Hey! Still some rats here!
The character jumps and swings through a shed.
I have to pick a side.
The bazaar needs good people.
You're doing great so far.
The character slides and swings from posts near a building.
I have to make a difference.
He jumps into a room.
Let's check and see.
The character leaps off of a building.
They say that great change is a series of small gestures.
The character kicks a thug.
How about this series?
The character swings a large battle axe and smashes it into the ground. Several thugs fight with the character outside in the sunshine. The character stands and fights the thugs. He blocks several attacks from the thugs with the large battle axe.
Is all hope really gone? We'll see about that.
Well, that was an exciting trip, wasn't it, Timon? Did you notice those bandits in medieval-like armor passing by skyscrapers, banks, and
Pá,
large
o jogo está
billboards?
interessante.
That's what we
Pá,
call a
vamos ver
modern
depois
dark ages.
o que é que
And
vamos
it's a
trazer
very
mais.
unique
Vamos
design,
ver-nos um
one
bocadinho
very
mais sobre-
important for the plot of Dying Light
Está
2.
calor de caraças.
But there's another thing that stood out to me, all those parkour moves that you and your team has put so much effort into.
Well, all you need is a few thousand of animations, cooperation with professional tracers, mock-up sessions, and invaluable help from David Bell, whose face and moves player will see in the game, by the way.
No, yes, right. And we've got twice the number of parkour moves compared to the first game, and we are showing some of them in this trailer. The vault kicks being the most important to me personally. It brings a whole new fighting style into the game. The player can stagger an enemy and use them to perform further attacks, for example by rebounding from their bodies, jumping off them onto other foes, and so on.
I think we captured the movement really well and made it quite simple for the players to perform. I can't wait for them to try it out and tell for themselves how much they loved it.
It's definitely going to be useful. The city's buildings are higher than anything we have done before, improving its verticality. Players will need to find a way to reach those tall skyscrapers and other challenging spots too.
Then it's good we scattered some helpers around, like a paraglider, which can support players in both parkouring and combat.
Exactly, and
Obrigado,
it's
Marcos
gonna
Belo,
do
estás a
great,
assistir.
especially in fights against humans, which are more frequent and important than in Dying Light 1. It's been over 20
Dying
years
Light,
since the
man.
events from the first game, so people adjusted. They are much bolder now, at least during the day.
And they are more vicious too.
And I think that's a great summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast, complex world on December 7th. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Boas, RC.
Dying
Obrigado por
Light
estás a
2,
assistir.
Stay Human. Pre-order now to get Reload weapon skins, Reload paraglider skin.
For the first time in the storied history of the franchise, Microsoft Flight Simulator launched on a home console with the release on Xbox Series X and S last month. Reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by how well the stunning visuals and the depth of the simulation translated to the console, and that's why I'm extremely honored to welcome the head of Microsoft Flight Simulator, York Newman, to the stream. York, thank you for being here. The last time we met was at the Xbox Game Showcase, and it was getting ready to come out on consoles. How did that go?
It went great. As you said, the reaction to the Xbox console launch was really just amazing, both from Xbox gamers and from the press. They've been so gracious with their feedback. I don't know if you know, but Flight Simulator is one of the highest rated games on Xbox this year, which I think is just great validation that the translation of the simulation to the console has really worked well. Our usage numbers are through the roof. We are absolutely shattering franchise records, and I can tell you there have never been more people playing Flight Simulator than right now. So it's an awesome time.
That is awesome. Congratulations on the launch, really. But
Paris puts on a pair of dark aviator sunglasses.
All right.
I want to go to the danger zone.
Obrigado
So
aí,
what's
Marcos.
going on with Top Gun?
Então
There's
agora,
so much going on, Paris.
como é que é
So
dizer,
you
o
and I
Flight
talked
Simulator
about
agora
Top
vai
Gun
ter
Maverick earlier.
certo, um
The
patch,
fans
um
are
DLC
super
de Top
excited. They saw
Gun.
the FAA team.
Vamos
They
lá
can't
ver,
wait
então,
to start
o que é que eles
flying.
vão trazer.
And as you know, it comes out later this year as free DLC alongside the movie.
Gratuito, a DLC
But
é
as the movie is
gratuita.
still under wraps, so are we. So
Eles
I
ainda estão em
can still not
desenvolvimento.
tell you that much about it. But there's so much else going on even before Maverick. So we are continuing to do our monthly big releases that we've been doing for a long time. And next month, on September 7th, we are launching World Update 6. And this World Update, I mean, at the beginning of the show, if you remember, there was a little red plane flying into Cologne. Well, we did that because World Update 6 updates that region, the region of Gamescom. So Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And what that means to us is we have new aerial and satellite images. We have a new elevation map that helps us with the mountains. So the Alps actually look awesome now.
O que é que eles estão a dizer agora que eles vão fazer uma atualização em que onde é que é a Gamescom, onde é que vocês viram, eles vão ter agora nos mapas a partir de setembro.
And those cities look just amazing. They have like 7
o que vocês
centimeters
estão a ver agora
resolution, and it's awesome. But we want to celebrate the entire region, so we picked 100 of the most scenic places,
Marcos,
the most famous landmarks, and we call those POIs. And
vamos ter Áustria, Switzerland, Alemanha, vão ter estes cenários todos ali disponíveis.
And we also added airports. We did Lübeck and Stuttgart in Germany, and Klagenfurt in Austria, and St. Gallen in Switzerland. And what it ties it all together is missions. We're having new discovery flights. We have new landing challenges, and we have new sort of tours of the country. So they fly you around all the awesome looking places and really celebrate the beauty of this region of Earth. And this is a celebration of DACH, of Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I'm so happy to be able to announce the date here at Gamescom.
You know, that is really incredible, all the different regions and everything that you're going to have in the game, and the way that you're going to be able to actually highlight those.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, but you know, for us, it's actually not just the region and the visuals.
Eles conseguirem ter todos esses países, estes mapas disponíveis no Flight Simulator. Opa, eu ainda não joguei, eu quero ver se jogo isto. Não, ainda não chegaste muito tarde ao Joel. Opa, é assim, eu agora não sei se consigo adicionar, fazendo uma chamada no Skype, não sei se consigo adicionar malta aqui. Se estiver disponível, ou se não, assistem direto comigo aqui, vou explicar.
So we are announcing a new series.
Para falar de Flight Simulator, agora vão adicionar novos mapas da Áustria, da Suíça e da Alemanha, em que também tem a Gamescom e vocês podem assistir, podem agora navegar a área da Gamescom e etc. Agora vamos lá ver. E também vai vir a Top Gun na DLC, até a princípio até o final do ano, para nós também estar disponível para podermos jogar aqui no Flight Simulator. Eu ainda não joguei, quero ver show.
And we think of us as sort of a digital preservation. So we really want to get these planes to an extreme level of detail. We're going out of our way to really go deep. So we're doing a full scan. We take full scans of the outside and the inside, as detailed as 1 millimeter, which is as good as you can really do this. And then we're working with, for the Junkers, we work with Bernd Junkers, who is the grandson of the original creator of the plane, Hugo Junkers, and he's helping us. He had a ton of insight and materials. Then we worked with an organization that is preserving one of the last surviving examples of the Junkers. So they let us scan and take photographs, and then we were lucky that to find a pilot that actually flew one of those planes while it was still flying in the real world. And he lets us know, like, is the cockpit right, and the sounds right, does it feel right in the air? So we're having a blast working with these experts to really bring these, to celebrate this plane, to bring it back to life.
So
para
this is
nós também
almost like you're
conseguirmos ter a
creating
mesma
like a
experiência
digital
como fosse na
museum
vida
for
real.
aviation inside Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically that. It's a museum with flyable planes. So we're working with 40 museums around the
Joel,
world.
se quiseres
it's honestly
participar,
one of the
estar comigo
funnest
aqui
parts
ao
of the
vivo,
job.
basta
You
dizeres
end up
que
working with these
liga-me no
curators
Skype.
of planes. These are their
Eu vou te
babies.
se faz favor.
And they sort of see the tooth of time in the real world sort of nagging on their remaining planes. And they're so happy when we come in with our scanning equipment and we're basically capturing their planes, and they know that we can digitally preserve them in perpetuity. And we're actually giving those scans back to the museum so they can do something with it. And it's a great collaboration. And we're actually not just looking back in the history of aviation, we're also looking towards the future. So I have another announcement. We are working with a fascinating German company called Volocopter.
Yeah.
And they're making an eVTOL air taxi for urban
O que ele
traffic.
também disse é que eles,
they
ao
have a
fazer
vision
os
of the
scans
future,
dos
how
aviões,
these
estão a entregar
drone-type,
esses scans
machines
também
basically connect people
aos
in
museus
large
para eles
cities.
depois
We're
fazerem
working
alguma coisa
directly with
com
the
aquilo,
engineering team to
e
make sure
então
that we are
é
capturing their
incrível
plane
o que eles
and their
estão a conseguir
aircraft
produzir
perfectly
aqui
in
no
the
Flight
Flight Simulator,
Simulator.
and that's coming out in November.
I mean, you weren't kidding when you're saying that there's a lot
Obrigado,
going on inside
Opa, eu não sei
Microsoft
se estou a
Flight
traduzir
Simulator. Is
muito
there
bem
anything
aquilo
else
que
you
eles estão
want
a
to share?
falar, pá, estou a traduzir da melhor
Yeah,
maneira
there's one more
possível.
thing.
Para vocês perceberem.
we are. I'm
Ele
so
tem mais
happy
alguma
to
coisa para
announce
nos
that we've
dizer?
partnered with RARA. That's the Reno Air Racing Association, and they every year they put on something called the Steel National Championship Air Race, and we're bringing this to Flight Simulator. So this is the fastest motorsport. This
E
right
eles
down
vão
your alley. It's
trazer
the
a
fastest
cena
motorsport on Earth.
da
And I
maior
actually brought you a
corrida
little
mais
trailer to
rápida
look at.
de
race,
aviões do
speed.
mundo para o jogo, por isso
We go into the
também é
danger
mais
zone,
conteúdo
baby. Let's go ahead and
para
show
vocês
that.
verem.
The Xbox logo consisting of an X on a sphere is depicted. Captured in real-time 4K. An animated sequence depicts a night sky turning into dawn.
Pá, este jogo está
Pink
incrível.
clouds adorn a large
Eu quero ver
airport
se pego
hangar.
nisto.
The
Opa, eu
hangar
sou uma
door
pessoa que
opens
não
to
curto
reveal a
muito
blue
simulação,
airplane with a large
mas
black
por acaso
propeller.
estou com... isto está com um excelente aspecto.
A
e eu
propeller
queria
spins
pegar
quickly.
nisto.
Several airplanes race across a blue sky. Microsoft Flight Simulator. Coming soon. Xbox. Microsoft. Play it day one. PC. Console. Xbox Game Pass.
Play it day
You know
one.
I like going fast, and you know I love being in the danger zone. When is this coming out?
Man, these planes, they fly 500 miles, faster than 500 miles an hour, 50 to 250 feet above the ground. So you are definitely going to be in the danger zone. I mean, without going into too much detail, this Reno Air Race is actually the largest expansion we have since we launched on Flight Simulator. It's not just because we scanned all the famous race planes of the world, there's lots of them. This is also the first time when you can basically race against your friends and pilots across the planet.
Olha, parece muito espetacular porque agora nós vamos poder correr contra os nossos amigos pela primeira vez a correr neste tipo de corridas, de racing, de aviões rápidos, e então vai estar aqui no Natal disponível para nós podermos nos divertir a jogar com amigos, etc. no Flight Simulator.
To get my hands on this and participate in some of these air races.
Awesome, man. We got you covered.
All right, thank you.
Tá, por acaso está engraçado.
If going fast on the ground is more your speed, keep an eye out for an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 later on in the stream. We'll also talk with Wasteland 3's game director about the game's next
Vamos
big
ter
DLC.
aqui
But
também
first,
o Forza
if you're an
Horizon
Xbox
5
Game Pass
para nós
subscriber,
vermos
we have some
mais
great
tarde
news for you.
nesta stream. Vamos ver
Xbox
Forza
Game
Horizon
Pass.
5.
Humble Games. These Humble Games titles are launching day one on Xbox Game
Estes
Pass.
jogos vão ser lançados day one no Xbox Game
A
Pass.
game montage depicts a girl wearing a bloody eye patch. A man with purple
Uma coisa que estão a achar, qual jogo é que vos está a impressionar ou o jogo que está a achar interessante. Olha, esta é uma mistura de aliens.
Signalus, a girl's face turns into a skeleton. Unsighted, an orange robot vehicle walks past green liquid-filled tanks. Chinatown Detective Agency, a large animated city is depicted.
Twin shooter.
An animated character wearing a backwards baseball cap runs through a colorful forest. Several game titles are displayed on a screen. Play day one on PC, console and cloud with Xbox Game Pass.
Vai estar disponível day
Xbox
one
One, Windows 10, Xbox Game Pass. Learn more, humblegames.com. Game Pass, Xbox, Microsoft.
Windows 10 e cloud e Xbox Series.
Yep, somehow they did it. They added even more games to Game Pass. Well, let's talk about what's coming up. We're talking Age of Empires 4, the game's creative director, and we're going to see what's next for Sea of Thieves. But
Vamos ter o
now,
Age of
we've got a
Empires
new
4
roguelike
disponível
retro
e
shooter
vamos
that in
falar
grand
agora de Sea
retro
of
fashion
Thieves,
sends you
mais
plundering through shifting
conteúdo para ele.
dungeons to defeat a mysterious eldritch terror. Let's dive into the pit.
Red letters spell Into the Pit. Xbox Game Pass. An animated sequence depicts ravens flying past buildings in an old town at night. Cobblestone steps lead downward, opening to a vast underground chamber. A blue orb of energy is formed in the center of the chamber. The orb transforms into a red fire. A game sequence depicts two large hands that shoot beams of light.
Epá, este faz-me
The left
lembrar
hand glows yellow while the right hand glows red.
Da Saturn Man. O gajo tinha poderes, magia.
The hands shoot beams of energy towards several enemies inside a large underground arena. A red treasure chest
É um
opens.
jogo de FPS espetacular. Isto faz lembrar bocadinho desse ambiente.
The hands shoot
Não sei se isto é
energy toward a
multiplayer ou
glowing
não.
red
Se
monster.
isto é
A caption reads, Pit Guardian vanquished. Dungeon cleared. Red letters spell
Parece
Into
ser
the Pit.
multiplayer.
Coming October 19th. Humble Games. Xbox One. Windows 10. Game Pass. Play day one on Game Pass.
Vai estar disponível para Day One no Game Pass.
Xbox. Microsoft.
Parece estar
Play
fixe.
it day one. PC. Console. Xbox Game Pass.
Well, I am here with creative director of World's Edge, Adam Eisgren. And Adam, I'm so excited to talk H4, of course, because you've brought something a little different and very special today.
Yeah, I have. So, so far we've been showing everyone kind of what Age looks like from in the game, when you're playing it. You've gotten to see a lot of footage of that. And we've also shown a little bit of our campaigns, right, through when we unveiled the 100 Years' War and showed Joan of Arc. But we have yet another way in Age of Empires 4 that we're kind of bringing history to life that we haven't talked about yet.
See, you do this to me.
Pá, eu adoro Age of Empires.
I want to know more, so let's
quero
go
saber
with it.
mais
Let's hear
sobre
more.
o jogo.
Okay, wait, you get
E
one
então
moment
aqui,
of
se ele está aqui para nos explicar.
Okay, that's enough. So, what we brought today is we have these wonderful little videos that we've created that are interspersed amongst the campaign, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes each. And we have over an hour of them total, and they're called Hands-on Histories. And what they are is a great way to deep dive on certain fun subjects from the cultures we're representing and just from medieval history.
Excellent. Well, I hear you've actually brought one of those segments that you're going to share here for the very first time.
Yes, I have. We are going to show you the segment on one of the most popular units from Age of Empires franchise and a fan favorite, the Trebuchet.
Excellent. Well, this I got to see. Let's take a look.
A counterweight trebuchet was the king of all siege engines. A catapult capable of smashing down castle walls from great distances.
Trebuchet, a large round projectile strikes a stone wall in slow motion. A castle is depicted.
At Warwick Castle in England, they've built a replica, one of the largest in the world. Originating in 7th century China, by the 13th century, trebuchets had evolved into devastatingly powerful weapons.
Such a simple design, but so effective.
It has several key features. A pivoted arm with a weight at one end, and a sling to hold the projectile at the other. To prime, the 6-ton weight is raised using tread wheels.
So this is one of the wheels, one of 2 that's attached to an axle, which would lift the counterweight, weighing 6 tons. It's based on muscle power alone. What's essential about launching a projectile as far as possible is making sure that this end of the arm is moving as fast as possible. So once that weight drops, it really sends this point of the arm moving at its highest velocity.
This was done by positioning the pivot close to the counterweight and by launching the projectile from a sling. When released, the sling whips round, vastly increasing the launch speed.
A tall wooden trebuchet stands in an open field.
Trebuchets were carefully aimed, like modern guns.
In order to weaken the castle walls or even breach them, you had to make sure that the projectiles hit the same spot every single time.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory, they all had to be the same weight and shape. To achieve this, masons used a gauge.
Now I'm going to load this projectile into the sling. This
quase
one must
nem
weigh
posso
about 25 kilograms, but some projectiles can get up to 150 kilograms. That's the weight of 2 men.
A round projectile is loaded onto the trebuchet sling.
Trebuchets were also used to throw burning tar,
isto está engraçado.
beehives, even dead bodies. Anything to cause maximum distress to the enemy.
A trebuchet catapult arm is released.
Did you hear that whoosh?
Ai, já foste, mano.
It was the counterweight trebuchet's lethal combination of power and accuracy that made it the ultimate medieval siege weapon.
Make history your story. Age of Empires 4, October 28th. Pre-order
Yeah.
now. Game Pass for PC, Steam, Xbox,
Man, eu queria ver o jogo.
Microsoft.
Não
You
queria
know I'm
ver a
going to say
catapulta.
trebuchet. Don't care, because that is awesome and remarkably unique, something you don't see in games very often.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things when we were looking at what we were going to do with Age of Empires 4, there's a phrase I'm really fond of, which is history is only as interesting as the people who taught it to you. And you could say that about any subject, really, right? But I think the great thing is when you have someone that's so enthusiastic and passionate about history, it really comes across. And we wanted to be that kind of teacher for history. And there's a phrase called humanized history that I use to kind of describe what we tried to do, which is we tried to like connect past and present. And you can see that kind of in our briefings as well, where we've got like real stuff with like CG kind of overlaid to show you the history. And so for these, we really wanted to do that same thing. So ourselves and Relic partnered with this amazing group in the UK called Lion TV, and they've done production on an amazing amount of shows and documentaries for the BBC and won every award you can imagine for media. And they travel to all of these locations in all these different countries to meet with these subject matter experts and get all of this great footage on how things really worked and how things were made. And it's been delightful to kind of go through that process and, you know, get all these and finally start showing them to everyone.
I love it. Now, you also, of course, you've got a bunch, as you mentioned, of these hands-on history segments. Anything else that you can tell us fans about what we can expect, looking forward to? Any favorites you got coming up?
Oh, well, favorites. Oh, man. Well, I think my personal favorite is one called Medieval Surgery. Okay. And I'm going to let your imagination go with what we might show and what we might talk about in that one.
Yeah.
But the thing I love about them is that they go all over the place. So, you know, we've got ones on warfare and castle building and, like, how they kept flaming arrows from not going out when you shot them. And but we've also got all of these ones on, you know, like illuminated history and falconing and, you know, like horse taming, armor creation, and there's even one on Mongolian instrumentation, which is really cool because those instruments, we actually use them in the soundtrack for the Mongols when you're playing as them in the campaign, in the game.
I mean, I just love the behemoth amount of history that you guys... Age of Empires, always known for bringing history alive in a completely different way. And I also love to mention this to people, that you and the team do so much research. And it's so great to see this approach being used in a hands-on history kind of segment. But, I mean, what was that approach like to sort of, you know, sell going forward, especially since it's such a unique in-game experience?
Well, the cool thing was it was there from day one. It was one of the things I was really wanted to do, is try to tell these stories in a different different way. But I'll tell you, like full disclosure, it's been insanely nerve-wracking. We're trying something completely different that no one's ever done before in a game, right? We're history, but we're a game, but we're teaching things, but you're having fun. Finding that middle ground has been really challenging. And every time we've shown the campaigns or we've shown these hands-on histories, I've been like, oh God, is it gonna work? Like, people gonna like this? And the great thing is, so far, everyone that's really experienced the entire thing put together have just been like, wow, this is great, and it's so different and kind of cool and refreshing. So, so far so good, right? But yeah, it's been a journey, to get all this done and put the whole game together.
Well, I love that you mentioned journey because we are coming towards the end of this development journey for Age 4. Talk to me about where people can find and learn more about Age of Empires 4. I know they're all chomping at the bit.
Oh, well, October 28th, we are launching the game. You can go to ageofempires.com to learn more about the title, and if you're really excited, right now you can go onto the Microsoft Store or Steam, pre-order the game right now, and of course we will be there day one, Xbox Game Pass for PC as well, so anyone that's on that can just grab the game and start playing.
Man.
Yes, I believe you are a part of something very special.
Yes, so Gamescom opening night live.
Yes.
11 a.m. Pacific time. There might be something Age of Empires related in there, so if you're a fan, you probably should tune in.
Ele está a dizer que vai ter alguma coisa especial na Gamescom para o Age of Empires.
And I like it very much. Adam, thank you so much for joining us here.
Always a pleasure, Kate.
Always a pleasure. Age of Empires 4 looks fantastic, so I cannot wait. October 28th, neither should you. Now, we have tons coming up here today, including a new update for State of Decay 2 and an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 with our friends at Playground Games. But now, let's catch up with Paris, who's gone from flying the skies in Microsoft Flight Sim to a different kind of cloud.
That's right, Kate. Xbox Cloud Gaming is already available on Windows PCs, mobile phones, and tablets. And now, it's coming to Xbox consoles. The future with cloud gaming sounds bright. No waiting to install, no running out of hard drive space, no waiting to patch, and no buying a new console just to play with your friends. See how the vision of cloud gaming will bring people together without barriers.
Vamos ver como é que a visão do cloud vai trazer toda a gente sem barreiras.
And when I think about gaming, those two things together to me really show you the future where you can pick up something and you can play it anywhere and you could do it quickly.
Today, Xbox Cloud Gaming gives you more ways to play, available across Windows 10 PCs, mobile phones, and tablets. Now it's coming to consoles as part of Game Pass Ultimate.
Cloud gaming is phenomenal. That's pretty great. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
This actually looks so good.
A new way to play.
Games are large and you want to keep the ones that you know you love on your hard drive. Xbox Cloud Gaming is about being able to discover the new ones right away. It's super exciting that for our Game Pass Ultimate members, they will get to experience Xbox Cloud Gaming on whatever console they have.
Cloud gaming is really about looking at how people play differently. I know me in particular, sometimes I just have 20 minutes.
It should be as easy as finding the game that you look for on your console and just jumping right in.
We're targeting 1080p at 60 frames per second.
What's crazy about this is like the latency. This is the kind of stuff you need with cloud gaming.
Oh, 60 frames? That's actually very smooth.
The process itself to get into cloud gaming feels like you're playing on console, right? You go, you find the game you want, you press play.
It's so easy nowadays. You can pick up any device and pretty much play any Xbox game on Game Pass.
Don't miss out playing with friends.
If my friends have titles that I don't have yet, I can just wait for them to send me an invite. It makes content just so much more accessible.
Play right away.
I really love the flexibility. It's awesome.
Everything that Xbox is doing right now is just getting rid of the limits of having to be on a specific platform or a specific console. Play on PC and mobile, and now on Gen 8.
Yeah, Gen 8 consoles can play Gen 9 content. Isn't that so cool?
With cloud gaming, we have the ability, because you are connecting to consoles that are in our data centers, to allow the Gen 8 customers, the Xbox One customers, to play games that their hardware wouldn't have been able to play without it.
There's so much opportunity when it comes to thinking about how we can make content more readily available and let people play where they want to. Sign me up. I'm ready for cloud gaming right now. Let's do it. When's the release date? When does it release?
Xbox Cloud Gaming with Game Pass. Coming to Xbox Series X, S, and Xbox One, Holiday 2021. Xbox, Microsoft.
August 9th saw the release of the free optimized update for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on the Xbox Series S and X. with beautiful and rich visuals thanks to the addition of ray tracing and improved materials alongside performance updates. This is the perfect opportunity to relive Senua's journey or experience it for the first time.
Com
And if you
experiência com
haven't
melhor
played
qualidade,
this,
com
do
ray
yourself a
tracing
favor,
e etc.
grab a pair of
Eles têm
headphones
problema
and
a resolver.
immerse yourself into
O
this
áudio
world.
está a funcionar mal.
Great. Speaking of
Isso
unique
depois falo mais
experiences
tarde no
on
vídeo.
Game Pass, the Xbox
Salvo
Plays
erro, não
team
sei
will be
se isso
taking a
agora
look
está
at some
a
indie and
acontecer ou não,
Xbox titles
porque eles
over the
lançaram uma
next few days,
atualização ontem.
including
Vamos ver.
12 Minutes and the Big Con.
They're also talking with developers from Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 5, and Destiny 2. So join the live Q&A to get your burning questions answered. You can catch all of those streams on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Pá, quero jogar 12
Speaking
minutos.
of Forza Horizon
Se não sei se
5,
está no
don't
Game
forget
Pass,
our
se
friends
tiver,
at
quero
Playground
jogar esse
Games
jogo,
will
quero
give us an
jogar 12
extended look at
portugueses,
their monument
quero
to
jogar
motoring in
portugueses,
Mexico
incrível.
later on.
Esse jogo.
That includes never-before-seen areas of the game map, plus cars that have never been in the Forza franchise before. I've loved everything I've seen of Forza Horizon 5 so far, and I can't
mapas
wait.
e carros
Now,
que nunca
Kate,
viram no Forza Horizon.
there's more
sim,
games to check out,
mas
right?
ainda não
Well,
vamos
right,
falar,
you are,
eles não vão
Paris.
falar já
Let's talk
nele,
Wasteland
agora vão
3.
falar noutro
Their
jogo.
newest DLC introduces us to a new cult, the Cult of the Holy Detonation.
Holy detonation is life. Deep within Cheyenne Mountain, we've changed. Devolved into the mutations you see before you. Set on a righteous path. The holy detonation's life-giving glow should be shared with everyone. May the light of the holy detonation purify you. Join us, Rangers.
Wasteland 3, Colorado Collection, the
Wasteland,
full
sorry,
Wasteland
man.
experience, coming
Vou ter uma
October
nova
5th,
DLC. Eu não estava a ver o
Xbox,
jogo, pá, eu
Microsoft,
também aqui
play
com-
it day one, PC,
Estava a pensar
console,
muito na-
Xbox Game
na cena
Pass.
que eu estava a falar. With new patches, bug fixes, and added features, like a fine wine, Wasteland 3 just gets better with age. To really
Wasteland 3
savor
vai
the
trazer
game's
patches
bouquet,
para corrigir
we're
vários
talking
bugs
with
e patches
in-exile
com
game
novos mapas
director
e novo
David
conteúdo.
Rogers. David, thank you for joining us.
I'm super stoked to be here.
Thanks.
So in the trailer, we saw that the DLC is coming out on October 5th, but we know, In Exile, Wasteland 3, you guys have been working on this for a very long time. So can you kind of talk about that journey?
Yeah, our dev team has been working nonstop full tilt, trying to make Wasteland 3 the best version of itself it could be. Over the past year since it's released, we've added features, we've balanced, we've listened to the community, we've fixed bugs, added stability, and I really think that the version that we have now is the absolute best version of the game, and if you've never played it before, now's an awesome time to jump in.
Quem quiser jogar o jogo e nunca o jogou, é a melhor oportunidade de jogar, porque é a versão definitiva do Wasteland 3, está tudo corrigido, que eles estão a dizer, ouviram a comunidade, corrigiram muitas coisas, adicionaram novo conteúdo e melhor conteúdo para
Right, so you've heard of Cheyenne Mountain, right? For those who haven't, Cheyenne Mountain is this top secret military complex buried deep in the heart of Cheyenne Mountain in the middle of Colorado. It's designed to outlast a nuclear winter. And so when you hit level 16, an old friend calls you and says, hey, I need your help securing this secret military base and all the secrets within. And as soon as you get there, you find two warring cults battling over supremacy, trying to take control of the Holy Detonation, which is this pre-war science experiment that they worship as a god. And, these cultists are insane, they're mutated, they've gone totally mad, and all they want to do is share the holy radiation with you and your entire ranger team. How generous!
That sounds a lot cooler than some of the cults I may have joined in the past. But this is typical Wasteland fashion. We're really going to be able to get in there and mix it up, right?
Right. So you and your ranger team insert yourself right smack dab in the middle of their holy war, which, what could go wrong?
Yeah.
And this is a Wasteland game, so you decide everything. Choice and consequence is our bread and butter. And so you decide who lives, who dies, who gets screwed over, who takes charge. You're deciding the fate of the cults, the Holy Detonation, Cheyenne Mountain, and ultimately all of Colorado. This is really your game to craft and mold.
That's awesome. So the last expansion was the Battle of Steel Town, right? You had giant robots and things like that. So, what are you going to do to actually top something like that from the last expansion?
Right. So we wanted like returning players to find something that they could never find in another version or like in previous versions of Wasteland 3. And so we built this as a Wasteland-style dungeon crawl. And in there, you find this awesome mix of mystery, exploration. You're meeting these crazy cultists who have been locked in this like pre-war time capsule, and some of the raddest boss battles we have ever been able to build in a Wasteland game.
That's awesome. I want to get back to the crazy cultists, but talk to me about these big boss battles. I want to hear more about that.
Right. So we took the best parts of Wasteland
nunca
combat
fui fã desta
and breathed
franquia,
new
por
life
isso
into it with
não posso
objective-based
dizer
combat,
nada
which
de
are
especial,
basically
porque
super rad boss
é uma
battles.
franquia que eu nunca,
It's no longer
nunca
you're like
tinha
huddling
jogado.
in a corner, throwing
Não sei
down
se é bom
turrets,
ou
just
não.
going
Posso
on murderous
experimentar, acho que
rampages.
estão
It's not about killing, it's about getting the job
PC,
done. So
etc.
now, combat
No
doesn't
Game
end
Pass,
until the
vou ver
mission is
se-
over. We
se
send you
jogo.
on
É de
proper
Exile.
combat missions.
Dar a
You're
oportunidade
in
de
there
jogar, não.
breaking into
Faz-me lembrar
prisons,
muito
rescuing POWs. You're
o
disrupting
tipo
these
Diablo.
high-tech cultist rituals. You are
Numa
splitting your
mistura
fire
de-
team and coordinating like
pá,
you
eu sabia
never
o nome
have
do
had
jogo,
to
agora não
before.
ponho à cabeça.
Like everyone on your team has a job, and I really think this is going to take old players who know their Ranger team like the back of their hands, and it's going to make them scratch their head and really have to rethink how they go about combat and making it new, exciting, and challenging in a like mentally in a way we haven't been able to really do before with just straight up murder combat.
Now, Wasteland has a reputation for getting a little silly.
Right.
What are some of the weird characters we can expect in some of the story encounters we'll see?
With Cult of the Holy Detonation, we really got to cut our devs loose and just let them be creative and fun and silly. Like in Exiles, modus operandi is if we're like brainstorming and something makes us laugh, we just put it in the game. That's just how we do it. We pick up the pieces afterwards because we want to make something that entertains us, and then we know if we're having fun, our fans are going to have fun along with us. And so we got to explore, like really letting you get deep into this like weird radiation cult and let you interact with them and talk with them. And tell stories and like maybe even join them. And so like for instance, one of the characters you meet, one of the first cultists you meet is this slathering beast. He's got like claws and fangs and spikes jutting out. And he's drooling, but he's like the nicest guy in Cheyenne Mountain. Like you meet him and he's like, hey guys, you should like come in here and like soak up some of these rads. It'll be great. And he Sherpas you in and lets you meet the whole cult. And another one of my favorites is the Proteus. He's what you get if you took like 20 cultists and you like melted them into a big pile, kind of like I would do this with like a magnifying glass. I would like melt like army guys and like GI Joes into a big pile, and he's wet and sloppy and gross and he's hard to understand and he needs a translator supposedly. But he's like your #1 fan, and getting to build like this totally out there wild extreme character was a ton of fun to write for. It's a ton of fun to like explore like what makes this cult tick, and he's an absolute blast. Hell, even some of the weapons that you find in Cheyenne Mountain, they're devolved cultists. Like there's one guy and he kind of devolved into this like vomiting bagpipe creature, and he has this real like kill me vibe about him. But we get to play with these fun body horror themes that let us jackknife between sort of like dark and serious and like goofy and funny, which is a line that Wasteland really loves to ride. Like, you know, a lot of really important stuff is at stake, but you know, the Wasteland's a pretty bizarre place.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, we talked before, you've been working on Wasteland 3 for a while. There's already expansions that are out there. But say I'm a new player. Say I'm watching this right now and I'm like, man, I want to get into Wasteland 3. What would you suggest for new players wanting to get into this?
And like I said at the top, like Wasteland is like the best version of itself right now because of all the work we put into it over the past year. And so you can get the whole thing with the Colorado collection. That's the base game plus Cult of the Holy Detonation and Battle of Steeltown, all for a discount. Or if you have Game Pass, you already have Wasteland 3. Just download it and play it, and then you can get both expansions with the expansion pass.
That is awesome. Now, to kind of recap this a little bit, we talked about, you know, spewing pus bags and these weird characters and the cults and the boss battles and all these really cool things that are going to be in Wasteland 3. But please remind everyone before we get out of here, when can you pick up this DLC?
Right, this Work of Passion, it comes out on October 5th. We're really
Sai 5 de outubro a DLC, a nova.
The Holy
Cult of the Holy Detonation.
Detonation coming October 5th.
The Holy
David,
Detonation.
thank you so much for joining
us. Thanks, Rich. Appreciate it.
Right. In the 3 years since its launch, Sea of Thieves has played host to some incredible crossovers, including unique chipsets inspired by games like Battletoads, State of Decay, Halo, and more. Today, we're excited to announce a brand new special event that will award players an all-new ship as a part of the latest Wild crossover heading to Sea of Thieves. Better yet, this event begins tomorrow, so get ready to make some mayhem.
Ele está a dizer que vai haver crossover no Sea of Thieves e o evento começa já amanhã.
An animated sequence depicts an orange-colored pirate ship sitting in a cove by an island with jagged cliff walls. A pirate dances on the ship as the sun shines. A large pirate figurehead holding a saber adorns the front of the pirate ship. Large puffy clouds float over the tall jagged cliff walls. Get the free Mayhem ship set, inspired by Borderlands.
Guten Tag, everyone. Really cool to be a part of this all-digital Gamescom event. And we were thinking, what's the best way to kind of celebrate Gamescom and to be a part of this as Sea of Thieves? And so we're really excited to reveal that we're bringing the Mayhem ship set that you've just seen, a really, really cool ship that's inspired by Borderlands, into Sea of Thieves, and we're giving all of our players a chance to earn it during kind of the Gamescom time period. So it's been really cool to work with the Borderlands team to bring this ship to life, and giving all of our players the chance to earn it as part of this live event that we've cunningly titled Mayhem. You might notice the link. So you can probably guess the kind of activities that are involved, but if you head to Larina at any of the outposts in the Sea of Thieves world, she'll be able to fill you in on the details of what you need to go do to earn the ship. So we hope everybody gets a chance to take part in this awesome time-limited event. So it starts today, and it runs through to September the 7th. So that's the time period you've got to get your hands on the Mayhem ship set. And I think that's it from me. So as always, I will see you on the seas.
Several skeletons run on a beach holding sabers. A pirate fires at a long line of barrels. Pirates run away from large explosions on an island. Sea of Thieves, Making Mayhem. Available from August 24th to September 7th. Play it day 1. PC, console, Xbox Game Pass.
Eu tenho o jogo, comprei-o no lançamento, mas
An animated
não tenho jogado
sequence
muito
depicts
por
a
causa
woman standing at the
eu sou
top of a hill.
fantasma estar online e esse rouba-me o tempo todo. Pá, não consigo jogar jogos todos online. Epá, isto é State of Decay, man. Boas aí, ó, bora lá
A
jogar.
yellow-eyed zombie staggers.
Também é um jogo que eu ainda não joguei, pá, nenhum da franquia. Tem uns toques só, mas pá, tenho que pegar nisto e jogar. Só não tem tempo para tudo, pá. Decay 2 Homecoming. Available
State of Decay 2 Homecoming. Available September 1st. Play it day 1. PC, console, Xbox Game Pass.
Just like zombies themselves, it seems everything old is new again in State of Decay 2. And we have a guest to walk us through this Undead update. Please join me in welcoming Undead Labs Director of Communications, Wonder Russell. Hello, Wonder, how are you?
Hello, I'm great. It's great to be here, talk about the Homecoming update releasing on September 1st. We are very excited to get this into players' hands.
Vai estar disponível para toda a gente jogar no Game Pass.
Obviously, we are coming back to Trumbull Valley. We were there for Heartland, the update, back in 2019. Talk to me about the differences, and I'll sit right here and listen, because you're adorable.
So Heartland is the story mode within the game, but it's a very linear, narrative-driven experience. You know, players couldn't move their communities there. So that's all changed with the Trumbull Valley map. It is the 5th core open-world map. It's fully remastered, and it expands into 2 territories that were completely inaccessible in Heartland. So players can return to Trumbull Valley with their communities, start new communities there, and really start exploring everything that the new map has to offer.
So then, would Homecoming be a sequel then to Heartland?
Yeah, exactly right. So the events in Heartland kind of play out. You see what happens in Trumbull Valley. So we think of it as the 3rd part of our Trumbull saga that began with the original State of Decay game, continued into Heartland, And now we see what has happened since then and what storylines might be coming
A
to a
história é a
close.
continuação do primeiro
There
e
is
depois
a lot for
a
players to
história que depois passa
discover,
para o
a
segundo.
lot of
É a
environmental
continuação
storytelling to find,
dos eventos que se passaram
and
no primeiro
things
jogo.
have changed. So this isn't the Trumbull
Pá,
Valley
é
that
jogo que
players
eu
might remember.
tenho que dar uns
So that's going to
toques
be
mesmo,
exciting.
só para me
Interesting. Well, and
divertir.
anytime you expand something like Trumbull Valley, you just have to have
Matar
a
zombies é sempre
juggernaut of
fixe.
content, pun intended. Talk to me a little bit about what some of those things are that players can get in on here now in the expanded Trumbull Valley.
Yes, a ton of new content. In fact, we're doing something unique with the Trumbull Valley map. There are items there that you can only find on that map and nowhere else in the game, including 12 new hats and outfits, 10 new very cool weapons. We've got 6 new bases, 2 new achievements for achievement hunters. And on top of that, we are adding the game's 12th bounty pack. So that will be available from the bounty broker across all maps. And I have to say, they are some of the coolest weapons I have ever seen go into the game. I'm so excited for people to find them.
A juggernaut amount of content, and I don't care who
Yes,
sees that second
I love
pun
it.
of the day. That works out great. Well, let's talk about the State of Decay community, because it's absolutely an integral part to this entire franchise. And State of Decay being on Xbox Game Pass, how has that impacted the community? How has that impacted the game? Talk to me about those.
It's been fantastic, and we have an amazing community. We love them so much. In fact, one of the reasons we're doing Trumbull Valley as a map is because it was one of the most requested features from the community, which also makes it very exciting for us to be able to say, we did it, you get it. And we have a major milestone that we're celebrating. State of Decay 2 has 10 million lifetime players.
10 million lifetime players. Hang your hat on that. I absolutely love that. That is really grateful. Incredible, amazing news. Congratulations to you and the entire team at Undead Labs. Fantastic work. Well, speaking of Xbox Game Pass, let's give me the deets one more time when it comes to the update.
So the update releases September 1st. It's a free update for all State of Decay 2 owners, and it's included with Xbox Game Pass. Happy homecoming.
I love it. Thank you, Wonder, very much.
My pleasure.
Now we move from Trumbull Valley to the Lost Valley of Akria. This mystical location trades zombies for ancient warrior clans, forgotten temples of long-dead god kings, and a healthy dose of hack and slash. All this awaits in Strayblade.
505 Games, Point Blank, a tall door opens, Strayblade, a gameplay sequence depicts an armored character swinging a large battle axe. A giant beast swings its long arms at the armored character. The armored character fights several villains in a forest-like setting. Strayblade, coming 2022, Strayblade.com, 505 Games, Point Blank, Xbox Series X, S. A giant stag stands on its hind legs. Metal antlers form on its head.
In Strayblade, you discover the mystical Lost Valley of Akria, a world which ranges from overgrown temple ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. A game world that changes based on your victories and plenty of dudes to stab in blade-to-blade combat. If that weren't enough, you even get a fuzzy little pal to help you out. Between the epic fights and this small guy, there's clearly a lot going on here. So let's hear more from Point Blank Games about Strayblade.
Point Blank.
Hello everybody, I'm Leonard Kausch, Game Director at Point Blank Games, and today I will show you Strayblade.
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 Strayblade is an action RPG where you play a rogue adventurer who is exploring the ancient valley of Akria with his companion, a witty wolf named Boji. Unveil the history of the Forgotten Valley, muster the powers of the 3 Akrian metals to restore balance to this war-torn land.
That is the how, as well as the why.
Combat and exploration are the 2 key elements of our game. Let's dive into the combat first. Our combat system merges strategic anticipation of enemy attacks with split-second blade-to-blade reactions. It is the high noon of skill-based melee weapon combat. To achieve that, we put our hearts into creating fluid, well-readable animations and epic cinematic finishes. You can choose from multiple weapon categories that can be combined to fit your playstyle. Now, let's take a look at the exploration. Akria's colorful world ranges from overgrown city ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. Together with your companion, explore the deepest corners of an ever-changing world, bristling with adventure. Every discovery holds treasure. Find rare materials, recipes, weapons, lore pieces, and beautiful places. Change is part of your journey, where every victory impacts the world around you. When you die, time keeps moving forward. Enemy skills stay dead, new foes invade camps that you weakened, and when Boji revives you, only one thing is certain. The change you brought shapes what now awaits you. And of course, get ready for epic boss fights.
A large stag stands on its hind legs. Metal antlers form on its head.
We hope you enjoyed the first look at Strayblade, which will be out next year. And keep an eye on our social media channels for more information.
Strayblade, coming 2022. Strayblade.com.
Next up, one of the most unique games
Agora
finally
vamos
comes to
falar de
Xbox.
Crusaders Kings 3.
As in, my evil twin murdered 4 of my husbands because they secretly are in love with me. Unique.
In case that didn't tip you off, we're talking about Crusader Kings 3, the medieval grand strategy and role-playing game that has you trying to defend your royal line from those that would conquer your kingdom, and evil twins apparently.
Yeah. It's coming to Xbox as an adaptation, not a direct port, meaning that the UI and controls have been refined to bring that grand strategy experience to a controller.
Not to mention bringing the grand strategy experience to my comfy living room couch.
We'll all be ruling from our throne room soon enough. Check out Crusader Kings 3 now, coming to Xbox consoles.
Xbox. A snake slithers on a sleeping baby in a crib. Paradox Development Studio. Paradox Interactive.
My son, we must never forget the crimes committed against us. Your father sought his glorious revenge and failed.
The critically acclaimed grand strategy game. A large colorful map is depicted.
He never understood that the greatest wars are won with weddings, not warriors. With daggers, not swords.
Gameplay depicts a woman holding a baby. Arrives on next-gen consoles.
Only the small-minded measure success across the span of a single life. The real game is played across generations.
A colorful map of ancient Europe is depicted.
You see, real strategy requires cunning.
A gameplay sequence depicts a blonde queen. Crusader Kings 3, Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Series X, S. Learn more at crusaderkings.com. Xbox, Microsoft, play it day 1, PC, console, Xbox Game Pass.
Crusader Kings 3 is wild. You really haven't lived until you've made an 8-year-old the King of England.
Well, it's nice to have hobbies. We've all gotten into some weird stuff this past year.
Weird like diving into people's brains and exploring their mental universes projected into a psychedelic 60s wonderland kind of weird?
Exactly that kind of weird, which means I am so excited for Psychonauts to finally get a sequel. It has been
Psychonauts, olha, tipo a jogar hoje.
There really is something special about Psychonauts, isn't it?
There really is indeed. Now, think about this. 2005, when Psychonauts originally came out, it was a different time for gaming. Most of the biggest games that year were talking Resident Evil 4, Battlefield 2, Call of Duty 2. They were great games, for sure, but they were all big, beefy shooter games.
Meanwhile, Psychonauts had humor, whimsy, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. It was an oasis of color and humanity in an era when games were increasingly turning grimy, dark, and combative.
Not to mention having some deceptively deep character moments.
That's why the original is considered a cult classic.
It has been a long time coming, and it is finally here. Enjoy this long-awaited launch trailer for Psychonauts.
Xbox. A gameplay sequence depicts a character in a classic aviator helmet, fighting near large steps. A black scribbly blob at the top of the large steps fires at the aviator character and removes a pink heart. Psychonauts 2.
With psychic powers, he dives into your mind. My name is Raz. I'm the new intern. And today is my first day on the job.
Get ready, Rasputin.
Did you forget everything I taught you about levitation, Rasputin?
I'm not supposed to check out equipment to interns.
You did what?
Can't we just...
No.
Quit picking on the new kid. We were all new once, in case you forgot.
I've got eyes on the target.
Raz swims underwater.
And I I've got eyes on me.
2 giant glowing eyes open near Raz.
All I see is another unruly peasant.
Epa!
Oh boy.
O jogo parece estar correto. Pá, tenho que acabar de jogar o primeiro para começar a jogar neste. Talvez saia. Tem elementos muito engraçados também. Plataforma. É diferente. É um jogo um bocado mais. Como é que eu vou explicar? Plataforma um bocadinho uma mistura com. Pá, é diferente, né? Ainda estou a jogar, pá. Eu não joguei na altura este jogo, na Xbox.
Psychonauts 2, a Double Fine production, Xbox, Microsoft. Play it day 1, PC, console, Xbox Game Pass.
Well, it's clear I could not be more excited for Psychonauts 2 because I gotta be honest, me and that original game, we got some beef that needs settling. If you know, you know. The meat circus level, it is infamous, it is brutal, it is difficult to say the least. It's the final level of the original game that came out, and I cannot believe I'm doing the math on this one. 16 years ago, Tim Schafer and Lizette Teatree Montgomery. I am definitely dating myself, but you all welcome from Double Fine Productions. Thank you so much for being here. Tim, can you believe it has been 16 years? I almost said 19 years.
Yeah, it feels like only yesterday, but it kind of was for Raz because the story picks up right where the first game left off. And even though it has been a lot of years, it's a game that matters a lot to us. We really love it here at Double Fine, and we know that a lot of fans have meant a lot to them, and so we really want to be true to the spirit of the first game, which we were able to do because we brought back a lot of the same voice actors, and we also have a lot of people on the team here that worked on the first game, as well as bringing on a bunch of new people like Lisette.
Thank you. It was really important for us to carry the legacy forward, especially the cool style of Wonk that is very prevalent in the first game.
Style of Wonk. Just put it on a shirt. I'm in there for it. Let's roll it back a bit. Of course, this can be a kind of a trippy idea if you're not familiar. Psychonauts, they still jump into people's minds, I'm assuming, like the first game, right? So if a Psychonaut sort of dove into my brain, it would be like a lot of Ted Lasso quotes and French Bulldog memes. Am I correct, Tim?
Yeah, that's what's fun about a Psychonauts game is that all the levels are different, just like every person is different, based on their personality. If you could jump into someone's mind, what would it look like in there? What would be the color of the sky, and like who would the monsters be?
É isso que eu
In
estava a
Psychonauts,
tentar
you get
dizer.
to do
O
that
jogo é
because Raz has the
completamente
power of
diferente
astral
daquilo que
projection.
uma pessoa
And
estava
when he goes
a
in,
jogar
he
nas
gets to fight
plataformas,
those
por
monsters and
exemplo,
help people deal with their
cada
nightmares
pessoa,
and wrestle with
os
their
níveis
inner
são
demons.
diferentes por cada
And
personagem,
so
é o
there's
que
a
ele
ton
está
of
a tentar
variety,
dizer. Opa, é
and there's a
bocado
lot of anything
psicodélico,
goes. We can go to any
mas
location, we can
plataformas
have any art
divertido.
style, and coming up with new levels for the second game was really fun to do.
Well, I loved it from the first game, certainly. Let's talk a little bit about how that kind of concept expresses itself in the game world. I mean, Psychonauts 2 has got it all over the place, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was really important for us to carry forward the unique brain worlds and unique levels from the first game and the unique style as well. So we were really focused on how we could bring forward that style in Wonk and also bring in new levels and enemies.
Now, of course, it wouldn't be Psychonauts without new mental demons, and I'm sure it's happening in Psychonauts 2. What does this mean? Does it mean basically is that we're finally able to slap COVID anxiety in the face?
Well, I don't know if you get to slap anxiety in your face, but you definitely get to slap some panic attacks, and COVID definitely caused a lot of those. In addition to panic attacks, some of our old enemies have also come back. Our sensors are our favorites, and they're definitely here. And in addition to that, we also have our doubts and some new enemies. There's our lovely sensor. Also, some regrets, some flying regrets. There are a ranged enemy, and they definitely are challenging. Our doubts are our slow, sticky melee enemy. You're also seeing our enabler here. It energizes our whole combat troop. So we have a whole cast that you can battle and fight with.
Including the new Bad Mood.
Including the Bad Mood.
Which is...
It's an electric storm of feelings that you have to fight.
Now, for those who haven't played the original, available now on Xbox Game Pass, by the way, wink. Tim, why is Raz so good at rummaging through brains?
Raz is he has some very special skills. He has two whole sets of skills. One being the acrobatic skills he learned growing up in the circus. He can balance on tightropes, jump on trampolines, swing on trapezes, and that helps him navigate and get around to all kinds of interesting places. But he also has this other side, which is that he's a powerful psychic, so he can levitate objects, he can use telekinesis and pyrokinesis. He has these powers which people might recognize from the first game, as well as 3 new powers for the second game. He has the ability to mentally connect thoughts together.
Podia ser uma apresentação mais a mostrar só os jogos, em vez de passar tanto tempo
he has the power of time bubble, which is just change and slow down how things are moving by changing people's perception of time. And he also has the power of projection, which allows him to pull an archetype, a personality out of his unconscious mind and bring it into the world that he's in, like a companion in battle or in puzzle solving.
Bem, eu não posso estar a desconcordar contigo, nem voltar aqui a dizer que estás errado ou não.
Training to be part of an organization, and now perhaps part of a whole organization at this
Para quem
point. And
gosta
are
e quer
there other
saber
brain
alguma
agents,
coisa
other
sobre jogos,
psychonauts out there
vai
that maybe
acabar
grew
por
up
apanhar
in a
alguma coisa.
completely different circus?
Yeah, we have a lot of new characters in this game.
We do. We have a lot of new characters in this game. As soon as Raz arrives on the headquarters, he immediately gets introduced to the interns. And the interns quickly tell him and show him how he fits into the organization.
The bottom.
Sim, uma apresentação de 90 minutos nós estamos aqui para aí praticamente quase a apresentação toda.
And much to his chagrin, his entire family, his entire embarrassing circus clothes wearing family comes to visit him in front of all his new friends. So the interns find out that he's the awkward middle child of a circus family. Each one of them has their own quirks and foibles, and some of them are even psychic. So a lot of their story gets told in this game, including their backstory and how it relates to the foundation.
Falaram, mostraram umas cenas.
Well, I like that, and of course,
mostrar como
as
é
you
que
might
era,
know
mas de
already,
resto
I'm sold. But you, of course, already knew that. When can myself and the rest of the world exact some beefy, meaty revenge?
Sim, tivemos aulas de história, sim.
You can
não
get
tive
back
podcast,
to
não
Beef,
tenho membros
and play
aqui
Psychonauts 2
para estarmos
on August 25th on Xbox Game
não
Pass
tivemos
and
aqui
PC.
membros aqui para estar hoje com o podcast, para estar aqui a falar.
Tim,
Pá,
Double Fine, thank you so much. And
não
you know
tenho
what?
pessoal, não está
Extend a huge
disponível.
congratulations to everyone at Double Fine on the launch of Psychonauts 2.
Sim.
Thank you so much. We're
A
very
DLC,
excited.
sim, tem razão.
And you can catch more of Tim Schafer and ask him those burning questions about the newest game in the fan
Pá,
favorite
vamos ver o que é que eles vão
franchise
nos
in our
trazer. Eu
Xbox
estou mais
Play
ansioso
stream
por Forza
tomorrow. But
Horizon
first,
5.
we're going from cleaning out mental cobwebs to cleaning up alien planets in this supremely satisfying 4K 60 trailer for The Gunk.
E gostei daquele jogo tipo
From the creators of SteamWorld, an animated sequence depicts a rocket ship flying through space.
I don't like this weather. Pretty sure the ship's insurance won't cover it.
Agora este aqui não sei o que é.
You have to be careful out there.
Isso é um jogo novo. Não sei se isto aqui é exclusivo ou se vai ser para outra plataforma.
This planet is literally a paradise when the gunk's gone.
A gameplay sequence depicts a character walking on an elevated rocky path lined with green plants. Massive tree-like structures tower overhead. The character crouches and walks through a dark tunnel. She runs on a long pathway toward a circular portal.
Matei uma mosca.
Max? Oh, please, Max.
Image and Form Games, Thunderful, The Gunk,
Form
Xbox
Games.
Series X, S, Xbox
Não
One,
sei se isto é
Windows
exclusivo ou
10,
não.
Xbox Game Pass,
Pronto,
Smart
esse.
Delivery,
The Smart Delivery sai no
Xbox,
princípio este ano,
Microsoft,
2021.
Play It Day 1, PC, Console,
jogo, achei-
Xbox Game Pass.
Mais ou menos. Não achei nada assim de especial.
We have talked about so many incredible games today, and it's hard to pick a favorite, but let me just say, it is so cool that State of Decay 2 is expanding Trumbull Valley. Come on! And hey, you know what?
Querem saber
Great
alguma
job on
novidade
that
do
flight sim
ALO?
interview.
Por se
Thank you. I
realmente
mean,
vai ser
talking to
adiado ou
Jorg
não.
is always a blast, and Flight Sim is such a special game to me because, I mean, it's literally letting me travel the world. But I was staring daggers of jealousy watching you talk to Tim and Lizette over at Double Fine.
Well, I will say this, I understand, but you got to play Psychonauts 2 already, so I don't even want to hear it.
That's true, but it's not the same as talking to the creators. Just trust me when I tell you. Be excited for Psychonauts 2.
I will say this as well, I am excited to see even more of Psychonauts 2 on our Xbox Plays streams.
Yes, don't forget, Xbox Plays will recap all the week's news throughout the week at twitch.tv/Xbox. So make sure to check that out. Before Kate and I let Playground Games take the wheel, let me just say that it has been our distinct pleasure to chat games and nerd out with everyone today.
Oh, it's hands down the best part of the job, for sure.
But we're far from done here.
Too true. Now, in June, Playground Games announced that Forza Horizon 5, the highly anticipated follow-up to 2018's breakout hit open-world driving game Forza Horizon 4, arrives on November 9th on Xbox consoles, Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and cloud, and of course, Steam.
And if you're watching our Xbox YouTube channel, switch over to our Xbox Twitch channel to see all this new exclusive content.
And that is twitch.tv/Xbox for the full vroom vroom experience. And if you're already watching on Twitch or one of the Forza channels, stay right where you are.
Without further ado, let's dive in, starting with the new custom Forza Horizon 5 controller, which is available for pre-order today, so players can have it in hand by November 9th when the standard edition of the game launches.
The silhouette of a game controller is depicted in front of a colorful cloud of haze. A large crowd cheers, pistons pump up and down, and a tachometer is depicted. A yellow Xbox controller is depicted. A car spins slowly in dirt. Forza Horizon 5, limited edition controller. Pre-order now. Xbox, Microsoft.
Charlie here, and I'm at Playground Games with Forza Horizon creative director Mike Brown and Forza Horizon art director Don Arcetta. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Hello.
How cool is this?
That is stunning. Look at that. Well, we obviously just saw a really cool video about it, and I'll be the first to say there is an amazing influence of Mexican car culture and music literally splayed right across the front. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. It just feels like it's a part of the Horizon Festival, like it's just dropped out of the game into your lap.
Absolutely.
Absolutely love it.
And there's so much we do want to show the fans, and it's been quite difficult to decide where to start. So can you maybe tell us a bit more about the game, Mike?
Sure, yeah. So Forza Horizon 5 is bringing the Horizon Festival's unique brand of fun and freedom to beautiful and vibrant Mexico. Players are going to set out across the largest, most diverse open world we've ever built in hundreds of the world's most beautiful and exciting cars.
Yeah, and people think that Mexico is just a desert or a beach, but there's so much more to it, isn't there?
That's right. Even though it does have pretty awesome beaches and a number of amazing deserts, it also has vast canyons, hidden temples, awesome, beautiful historic cities, and even a towering snow-capped volcano, the highest point we've ever had in a Horizon game.
So you've talked about how Forza Horizon 5 showcases powerful, all-new graphical features, but what more can you tell us about that?
So yeah, our Mexican HDR sky captures really illuminate the world to the point where you feel like you're really there. And thanks to the Xbox Series X and S, ray tracing is utilized in Forza Vista to really make our cars look more true to real life. You'll encounter the smallest of details as you travel throughout the world, all rendered in striking realism.
Oh, that's such an exciting overview. I cannot wait. And next up is something we know that Forza Horizon fans have definitely been waiting for the most. Mike, what exactly is that?
Yeah, that's right. We are about to reveal the cover of Forza Horizon 5, featuring the incredible Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. Should we take a look?
Let's do it, yeah.
An animated sequence depicts a red Mercedes AMG 1 parked on a country road in the sunshine. Tall jungle hills and white clouds form the horizon. A yellow Ford Bronco Badlands sits at the top of a hill. The Bronco accelerates and kicks up dirt. The Mercedes races on a long stretch of road. The Bronco jumps over a mound in a jungle. The AMG 1 drifts on asphalt, while the Bronco races down a dirt road. Forza Horizon 5, available November 9th, Xbox Game Pass, Series X, S, Console, Windows PC, Cloud, play it day 1, PC, Console, Xbox Game Pass.
Now, those are two very different ways to explore Mexico. So what I want to know is why those two cars were chosen and what players can expect when they get behind the wheel.
Yeah, so those differences are exactly why we chose them. The Mercedes-AMG 1 marks the first time a car features Formula One hybrid technology almost one-to-one from track to the street. And with the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands, that's primed for rugged off-roading across Mexico's vast terrain.
And I'm certain people can't wait to see more of what these cars can do in the game, so I don't think we should keep them waiting any longer. Mike, can you tell us about what we're about to see next?
Yes, so in a few moments' time, we'll be kicking off a Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go stream, and everybody should check that out for a big deep dive into loads of new content and features from Forza Horizon 5. But before that, we have 8 minutes of brand new gameplay where we're going to see both the Mercedes-AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. And in typical Horizon fashion, we are going to see active volcanoes, cars jumping out of cargo planes, and a race under beautiful Mexican skies all the way to the Horizon Festival. Should we check it out?
I think we should.
An animated sequence depicts a yellow Ford Bronco Badlands parked in the back of a cargo plane. A rear cargo bay door opens on the plane. The Bronco is released from the cargo plane, and it plummets to the earth. A large orange and yellow parachute opens above the Bronco. Drop it like it's hot. La Gran Caldera volcano. The Ford Bronco sways past a snowy mountainside on the parachute as it approaches a road near a volcano. The parachute is released, and the Bronco races down the snowy road. A pop-up message reads, "Get to the Baja Circuit."
Here we take control of the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands, atop the towering snow-capped Gran Caldera volcano.
Mas pronto, opá, o Forza parece estar incrível, vamos lá ver.
The Bronco jumps off of the side of a snowy ridge. It continues racing down a dirt mountain slope.
Vai estar disponível no Game Pass 9 de novembro. Deve ser bom saber.
There might be a little bit of traffic ahead. Watch out for that.
The Bronco breaks through a wooden fence and lands on a dirt racetrack below. Several Baja vehicles race alongside the Bronco on the track.
Making new friends, eh? You go enjoy yourself. I have to go make another delivery.
A large cargo plane releases an orange exotic car. The car rides to the earth on a large blue and white parachute past a forested hillside.
Drop zone approaching. Lovely day for a drive.
The exotic car drops onto a paved country road and races away.
So now we see the 2020 Corvette Stingray tearing up the asphalt towards a dust storm in the Mexican farmland.
Outtrack the storm. No sigue adelante. Keep going.
The Stingray races on a dirt road toward a large dust storm.
Okay! There's no other way around! We've got to go through it!
Parece que o jogo está espetacular, está mesmo interessado, caralho.
For the eye of the storm!
The Corvette Stingray races through a dense orange-colored dust storm. The cargo plane flies above in a clear blue sky, near jungle mountains.
Okay, on my mark! 5, 4! 4 now, that's fine.
Pink flamingos adorn a pond.
This could get a little rough.
A vehicle suspended by a parachute approaches jungle treetops. Thunder in the jungle. La Selva. A blue and white Porsche races through a jungle on a dirt road.
La Jungle. Parece está porreiro.
Not even a scratch. The jungle awaits.
Next up is the Porsche 911 Desert Flyer, crashing through the dense jungle tree canopy.
Flamingos!
The Porsche 911 races on a wet jungle road, over pools of water, and past pink flamingos. The sun shines, as the Porsche drifts on the wet dirt, past several huts and tall jungle trees on the edge of the road. A pop-up message on the gameplay reads, "Get to the temple." A speedometer on the gameplay depicts the Porsche's speed. The 911 drifts and passes several houses. A large banner of colorful triangular flags extends above the dirt road. A blue Baja car races out from another jungle road. The cargo plane flies past the Porsche. The 911 races over a large pool of water in the Mexican sunshine.
I'll swing back round and guide you through the bridge.
The Porsche races on a sloped jungle road. The cargo plane flies overhead as a long bridge appears on the horizon. The Porsche jumps off of a large dirt mound in slow motion, and lands in a pool of water. The Porsche 911 races on a narrow dirt jungle road. An animated sequence depicts the 911 coming to a halt. Temple ruins form the horizon as pink flamingos fly over a large jungle canopy. An animated sequence depicts a lone road in the middle of a desert. Highway to horizon, Baja California. The cargo plane flies overhead.
This is the final drop. The whole festival is waiting.
The cargo plane descends over the road.
Go, go, go!
A red Mercedes AMG 1 exits the back of the low-flying cargo plane and drives onto the road.
Mais ou menos. Opa, esse não está porreiro. O resto dos jogos é
And on the final leg, we have the stunning Mercedes AMG 1 at full speed across Mexico's sun-baked rocky coast.
Horizon! This is Mexico! We've already had cars falling out of the sky, but all eyes are on the superstar making their way to the festival right now!
The Mercedes races on the road. It brakes as it takes a corner, past several palm trees and houses. A gameplay pop-up message reads, "Get to the festival."
Oh, Renato, espera aí. Vê se me estás a ouvir melhor agora. Vê se me estás a ouvir agora. Isto, opá, sabes que isto aumenta muito o volume.
Rolling hills and white clouds form the horizon.
Yeah.
The AMG races down the desert road as the cargo plane flies overhead. A speedometer on the bottom of the gameplay reads 210. The red Mercedes passes another car on the road.
Yeah, pá, isso não tem culpa, não.
The red AMG 1 arrives at a checkpoint and flies under the cargo plane. Forza Horizon 5. A game photograph depicts the red Mercedes AMG 1 and the Ford Bronco Badlands. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go stream on twitch.tv/Xbox or twitch.tv/Forza.
Exatamente. Salvo erro, acho que acabou a live streaming, man. Está aqui a dizer thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the Forza Horizon 5. Let's go. Stream on Twitch TV, Xbox or Twitch TV Forza. Acho que já acabou, man. Pá, é assim. Halo esqueceram-se completamente dele, não foi apresentado, só apresentaram o Forza Horizon 5 foi a única coisa interessante que teve aqui nesta live streaming. Eu vou deixar depois um vídeo amanhã sobre a análise completa sobre a gamescom. Vocês vão saber a minha opinião. Opa, a conferência foi muito fraca, a meu ver. Houve demasiado, falaram demasiado e poucos jogos interessantes a mostrar. A única coisa que me interessou foi mesmo só a Forza, o Age of Empires nem gameplay mostraram, e o Flight Simulator. Opa, depende do resto dos jogos se é pessoal que curte ou não. Pessoal, muito obrigado por terem assistido. Daqui é tudo, Games Off.